Welcome everyone, and thank you very much for making time for the FDT DTM introduction webinar. It is our privilege to have you all today. My name is Zishan. I take care of digital marketing here at Utunga. We have dedicated a series of 3 webinars on FDT DTM technology. Today is the first one. In today's webinar, we will cover the overview of FDT technology, different FDT specifications, followed by a demonstration. The goal of today's webinar is to help you with key needed to start DM development. Before we get started, I would like to take a couple of minutes to introduce about Utunga. Next slide. Utunga, we are an industrial software and hardware services company partnering closely with OEMs in industrial world to build products and solutions from concept all the way through the life cycle of the product. Be it enabling field devices to communicate with other systems are an improbable manner and are a digital layer to our purely mechanical or non-mechanical devices, our building configuration or calibration software, our highly sophisticated software and hardware system. We leverage our rich pool of engineers to co-build products and solutions with our customers. We offer services in application development, embedded services, IIoT, and verification and validation. Our services are targeted to OEMs and industries in process, factory, power domains. Next slide. These are the few industry bodies we closely associate and work on connectivity and protocol. Device connectivity forms the foundation of how we started as a company, that is connecting field devices or assets to the hardware and software systems up in the value chain. Our association with this consortium and importantly the FDT group is rooted in our commitment to help OEMs build their industrial applications. Next slide. So with that, I would like to introduce about our speaker for today. Divya is an active member of FDT Test and Certification Working Group, FDT Group and Project Group Security. She is an FDT, EDDL and FDI expert with over 10 years of experience in managing projects in the field of device integration, OPC and standalone applications. Divya has led multiple global and high impact software development projects for various companies, our clients in Europe, USA, and Japan. Recently, Divya presented EDDL and FDT technologies seminar in Japan. Just before we start the webinar, a few housekeeping points. The duration of this webinar is 60 minutes, which includes a demo as well. We will utilize the last 10 minutes for Q&A segment. Please send in your questions using the Q&A icon on the left-hand side of your screen. The presentation slides and the link of the recorded webinar will be emailed to you post the webinar. I request you to click on the full screen icon on your left-hand side of your screen to get a good view of the slides. Before I hand it over to Divya, I would like to have a quick poll for 30 seconds. I request you to please provide your answers. Request you to please provide your answers. So majorly people are looking forward or are having requirements in device DTM development. So now I will hand it over to Divya.
Thanks, Suzanne. Hello, everyone. Glad to have you all here for today's FTT webinar. Hope everybody is doing good and staying safe. So let us have a quick look at the topics that we are going to cover as part of this webinar. Firstly, let us understand why FTT is important, technical details about the FTT standards and its architecture. We shall also get into the comparison between FTT 1.2 and 2.0 standards. Following which, we shall dwell into the DTM certification process, and finally, let us have a small demo of how the DTM can work with the multi-vendor host systems and multiple communication protocols. So now, have you ever thought of managing a big chemical or power plant like this? I think it was really challenging during the early days. The reason being, the devices like this are needed for measuring temperature, pressure, flow, control the valve, and for many other operations. These devices were from multiple suppliers, and every supplier came up with the individual tool along with their own training needs to work with these devices. It was really hard for a plant operator to learn new tools for every device that is integrated into the plant. Another big challenge was, by being far away from the plant, we may not be able to get the appropriate information from the control center with various software in place. As a solution for this, the standardization came across to have a specific software tool in place for the configuration or for any other operation which can be integrated into many systems. With that, let us look at a little bit about FTT Group. FTT Group is an international non-profit corporation that consists of over 50 global leading companies from process and factory automation worldwide. FTT Group generally provides the open and non-proprietary standardized interfaces for the device integration of the field devices. It was started in 1998, where the initial discussions happened to create the field device configuration tool called as FTT. In the year of 2001, FTT 1.2 standards released for single-user desktop applications. After that, FTT Group went through a lot of specification releases like FTT 1.2, 1.2.1, 2.0, and the recent one is FTT 3.0. FTT Group has a joint partnership with OPC Foundation. If you're having the FTT systems in place, you should be able to get the information via OPC information model. And this was supported during 2012. FTT is also recognized as IEC 62453 and ISA 103 ANSI standards. So far, FTT has certified more than 3,000 different devices across the world. So FTT supports more than 16 plus of communication protocols such as HART, Foundation Fieldbus, Profibus, Profinet, IO-Link, Ethernet IP, and so on. FTT is an international standards and approved as IEC 62453, ISA, as well as China GBT standards, which actually enables the company to deploy the standards in their automation platform on a global scope. I'd like to give you a simple example to understand the FTT concept better, which is printer. For instance, you're purchasing a new printer for personal or official use to work with. So in this case, you need to have a driver which is required to communicate with the printer via the driver using this integrated graphical user interface. So all these capabilities present in the printer can be accessed with the installed driver via the user interface. It is pretty much the same with FTT. This technology is called as FTT, that standardizes the communication and the configuration interfaces between the field devices and the host systems. With this device integration technology, any device can be configured, operated, and maintained from the standard user interface regardless of the manufacturer or device type or communication protocol. It supports open architecture for the connected world of industrial automation. So let us understand about the frame application, DTM, and its types. So now what is frame application? Frame application is a runtime environment for the DTMs to work with. You can think of a frame application as it is an internet browser, just like Internet Explorer or the Chrome. And the DTM is like HTML web page, which works inside the browser. Without browser, we will not be able to launch the web page. And the same way, we will not be able to work with the DTMs without frame application. So the frame application is a standardized tool to configure, maintain, and diagnose the intelligent measurement devices. It provides the unified and common environment for the automation systems. A single FTT frame application supports more than 15 protocols. Packware, FieldK, FieldMate, FTT Container, Field Device Manager are the few examples for frame applications, and there are many more available in the market now. FTT technology has three different components, that is FTT frame application, communication DTM, and device DTM, which interacts via the standardized interfaces. We will be getting to know more about the communication DTM and device DTM in the upcoming slides. I think now you can easily relate to a printer example with the DTM, which we just discussed a few minutes back. So DTM, or a device type manager, is a device driver for which a specific device that defines all the parameters and the logical operations available in the device. DTM provides the rich user interface for all types of devices to configure, calibrate, and to troubleshoot easily. So it's generally hosted in any of the standard FTT frame applications. It is supplied by the device manufacturers along with the devices. It is also possible to support more than one device types in a single DTM. So here are the different types of DTMs that are available: device DTM, communication DTM, and the gateway DTM. So device DTM is application software that is developed based on the device functionality. It could be for any device like pressure, valve, and temperature. Communication device DTM is developed to work with a specific communication hardware using which the device shall be communicative. So the gateway DTM is a special category of the DTM which requires to connect to a field segments like a Profibus or Fieldbus segments. So let us get into the features of the DTM. FTT supports more than just a configuration or the parameterization of the devices. So it is not just including the parameterization. The FTT has much more than this. So the FTT offers functions for automatic detection of the field devices connected to the bus as part of the network configuration. Through a communication DTM, all the connected devices in the topology can be identified as part of the scanning. During the network scanning, it is possible to set the field bus addresses of the identified devices as well. Device configuration is a key task and engineering phase of each project. It could be a small or large project. The device parameter configuration is possible even without having to connect to a device. Can be changed, and when field device is connected during commissioning, the configuration can be loaded to a device. As part of the upload and download, this functionality is achieved. This generally reduces the time spent for commissioning. So condition monitoring and status monitoring of the device would be helpful to take necessary precautions. So that's why the monitoring is key in the device DTM. With respect to user management, FDD specifies a uniform user management model which specific access rights for defined user or user groups like observers, operators, and engineers. It has the consistency among various hosts that is being supplied. It is ensured that specific sensitive functions or the informations about the DTM or the frame application are accessible only to the authorized users. And DTM allows online access during the runtime of the system and displays diagnostics. Necessary actions shall be taken by getting to know about the diagnostic condition of any devices from the DTM. So report generation is also possible with the DTM to have all the device configuration in the form of documentation. I shall show the demo of these features in a while. So now let us look at the FTT 1.2.x network before we get into the technical details of the FTT 1.2 and 2.0 standards. So here, if you look at in this example, we have two different device DTMs. One is for HART, another one is for Profibus. There is a PC that has a frame application installed which need to have a Profibus communication DTM installed to communicate and work with a Profibus device. The Profibus communication DTM is required to work with the Profibus gateway. Nested communication is generally used to establish the connection to a device on the subsystem. In another example, the hard DTM calls the field device which is connected to a remote channel using the communication DTM. So that is also having it connected to the frame application. So let us get into a little bit technical aspects of the FTT 1.2.x and FTT 2.0 standards. FTT 1.2.x is a client-server architecture based on the Microsoft COM. The data exchange between the device software components and the engineering system is performed by means of XML, which actually allows the content extension of the information that can be exchanged in the later version of the FTT. To access the device functionality, data must be exchanged between the device and environment via communication channels. These communication channels may be identical to I/O connections of a remote I/O or to different process values measured by a transmitter and communicated via the field bus. So the FTT 1.2.x GTM user interface gets the pointer to a business logic which interacts with the private interfaces. So the business logic gets the pointer to the communication channel and interacts with it over the FTT communication interfaces. ActiveX technology takes the major role of engineering system and the software component. So let us get into details about FTT 2.0. FTT 2.0 provides the greater security by enabling the frame application to validate the compliance certification of a DTM using public key cryptography approach. When it comes to distributed architecture, the FTT 2.0 supports the client-server architecture, and FTT 2.0 frame applications could be distributed multi-user application. It provides the locking mechanism within a multi-user environment. The FTT 2.0 standard adds the real-time monitoring for background processing and batch tasks, which delivers much faster performance and lower memory consumption is assured by following the defined guidelines as per the specification. For FTT 1.2.x standards, FTT group has to provide the specification, and the only specification was made available for the users. Thus, each vendor had to implement such components and tools. But for FTT 2.0, the FTT group developed the main parts of the UI components, which reduced the burden on the vendors, and so they can quickly release the secure DTMs. So the FTT 2.0 developed using .NET 4.0, and it is available for all Windows platforms. FTT 2.0 supports the backward compatibility to work with FTT 1.2 DTMs, and it covers all the use cases of the FTT 1.2 as well. Moving on to FTT 2.0 architecture, frame application manages the interaction between the DTM business logic, DTM user interface, and the communication channel and the DTM. There is no direct access between the DTM user interface or the DTM business logic or the DTM or the communication channel. So the interaction between the business logic and the user interface are done via messages and events that is defined in .NET classes. Standard threading rules are defined for frame applications and DTMs, which need to be followed by both FTT 2.0 frame applications and DTMs. Simplified architecture is defined that is easy for the interoperability. So the FTT 2.0 eliminates the COM and then ActiveX limitations. So the frame application can execute the DTM business logic and the DTM user interface on a different PC. In this scenario, the frame application starts the DTM user interface on a client PC. The interaction between the DTM business logic and the DTM user interface is done by the frame application means. The DTM business logic and the DTM user interface are not aware of the execution on the different PCs. FTT 2.0 provides the support for the distributed scenarios when multi-user access the same dataset. So the locking mechanism is used to ensure that only one DTM has the read and write access for the instance dataset and to the device dataset. So for all other DTMs, it will have only read access. The flexible architecture helps the end user to deploy and work with the DTM in mobile platforms as well. So with OPC UA server, which has to play a dual role as OPC UA server as well as the frame application. So the OPC UA server contains the frame application which executes the DTM representing the physical devices. The information that is available in the DTM is used to create the OPC UA information model. Especially the DTM device type and the device data information are used for this purpose. So the information model represents the DTM information and the functions within the OPC UA server. The FTT group and the OPC Foundation work jointly on a specification in defining the information model for mapping the DTM information. And here is the comparison between FTT 1.2 and 2.0. So with respect to the interface definitions, FTT 1.2 interfaces are defined as COM interface, whereas the 2.0 interfaces are defined as .NET interface. DTM business logic for the FTT 1.2 implemented as a COM object, whereas in FTT 2.0 business logic is implemented as a .NET class and it is distributed as a .NET assembly. So the DTM user interface is implemented as a ActiveX control for FTT 1.2. In case of 2.0, the DTM UI is implemented as WPF control. So with respect to data exchange, FTT 2.1.2 uses XML for the data exchange over the interfaces, and FTT 2.0 uses the data types for the data to communicate via the interfaces. OPC UA support has been done for FTT 2.0 and the above versions. And now I'm really excited to give the overview about the FTT 3.0 or FITS as it is commonly known in the industry. So the new FTT 3.0 standard accelerates the evolutionary journey into the fourth industrial revolution by enabling an ecosystem of the FTT-based solutions to meet the demands for IIoT and Industry 4.0 solutions. FTT 3.0 solutions bring platform independence, standardized remote access and mobility, and FTT hub repository for DTMs, end-to-end security, and so much more in it. OPC UA, web services, control networks empower the implementation strategy to optimize the connectivity and the information exchange. So I just wanted to update you all that there is a webinar planned on digital information with FTT 3.0 on July 2nd, which is co-hosted between FTT Group and Uttunga. So this webinar will be addressed by Glenn, who is the Managing Director of FTT Group. You can plan for attending this webinar for more updates with respect to FITS. So next would be the DTM certification process. FTT specification has defined their own standards for both a frame application and the DTM to work together irrespective of the manufacturer or protocol or the device classification. So the DTM certification ensures that all the standards that are defined by FTT is followed. It also ensures that common look and feel with respect to the complete data access is ensured. Generally, the DTM certification is done by accredited FTT test center, and Uttunga is accredited FTT test center in India. There are many more FTT test centers are available in the worldwide. You can visit this link to get to know more about this. Applicant would like to, when there is a request for applicant to get started with the DTM certification, they have to first find the registered FTT test site to handle all the formalities to start with the certification process. So the applicant and the test site discuss and agree upon the commercial aspects by getting into the necessary data and by getting the necessary hardware and the infrastructure, including the DTM and the declaration form to start with the DTM certification. Test site performs the test by following all the procedure given by the FTT group and ensures that there is nothing is broken from the certification as part of it. If any conformity test cases fails, so the applicant has to work on the necessary fixes and come back to the test center to recertify the DTM. So in case if there are any test execution failed for the genuine reason and it cannot be fixed, the applicant shall raise the test exception request by getting into the necessary support from the test site and the FTT group. The FTT test and the certification group members generally review the exception report or the request and jointly accept or reject the TER, which is the test exception request. If the test exception request is accepted, FTT group will issue the certificate to the applicant. In case if the violation or the issue is not justified, the certificate will be rejected by FTT group. Conformity testing shall be performed by the accredited FTT test center by using DTM inspector tool only. This will be run against the FTT 1.2 and 2.0 standards. For FTT 1.2 certification, DTM Inspector 3.1 version of the DTM Inspector tool will be used. And in case of FTT 2.0 DTM certification, DTM Inspector 4.0 will be used. In case of FTT 2.0, style guide test is mandatory, whereas in case of FTT 1.2, the style guide is not mandatory. To test the device DTM, only certified communication DTM needs to be used. So it is a mandatory rule. The procedure is same for all the device DTM or the communication DTM or the gateway DTM. So the collaboration requires between the applicant, the test site, and the FTT group for the DTM certification. So once the certification is submitted to the FTT group, it generally takes 4 to 6 weeks of time to complete the process approximately. The cost of the certification test depends on the various criteria. So in case if there are any changes or enhancement made in the DTM, it requires recertification. The same procedure, whatever we just explained, is followed for the recertification as well. Now, there are multiple host suppliers are available in the world. So I have taken a couple of frame applications, the ABB Asset Vision Basic and Yokoa FieldMate for today's demonstration. I'll be walking through some of the DTM features like configuration, upload, download, user management, import, export, and print. So the ABB Asset Vision Basic and the FieldMate frames are available in the vendor-specific website, and you can download it freely. There are also license versions available. For this, you have to contact a specific host suppliers to get the licensed version. Let us take an example that you have the FDA package or DD available for your hard device, and you are in need of a DTM for the same hard device. So what we can do here is, we can take the DD or FDA package and convert it to an interpreted DTM using Utunga's proprietary DD or FDA package to DTM conversion tool. It is really quick, and within few minutes, you will have the DTM for your device ready. I'll show you the demo of the tool and the demo of the generated DTM using Asset Vision Basic. I'm going to access a remote system now. So this system has the UDTM tool, Asset Vision Basic, and the FieldMate host installed along with the required communication DTMs installed too. So this is a UDTM tool where you can find the options to import the DD binaries or FDA package. So here are the extensions of the binaries or the FDA package that are supported for different protocols like HART, FF, Profibus. So let me have the FDA package for one of the level transmitters imported to the tool. As this manufacturer logo, device icon, device logo are optional, I'm just not giving it. I'm just importing now. So the import is successful and the DTM is ready. So let me show the generated DTM using the ABB host. As the DTM is just created, let me perform the catalog update. Excuse me. So as part of this device catalog, all the device DTMs or the communication DTMs that are installed in the PC will be retrieved. So it takes quite a few seconds as there are many other device DTM and the communication DTMs are installed, as you can see. And this is a progress shown by the frame application to indicate that there is a catalog update. It is going on in the background. So which is the informative message. So now the catalog update is done. This is the network view where I'm going to add our communication DTM. As I'm going to communicate to the HART device, I'm just choosing the HART communication DTM. I'm going to configure the port using which the device is communicating, which is 10. And now let me add our device DTM, which we just created. You can see this is the one which we created, the level transmitter, and the date, you can see today's date. Just add it. So the device shall be connected using the communication DTM to work with the device DTM. So now the device is getting to the online. Let me launch the online screen. So this is a dashboard where you can find the overview and the device health check by looking into the status, and you can look at the information for the primary purpose variables that are read, and other information related to the device revisions and the feature also can be made quickly accessible here in the overview. So now you can find the device identification related parameters and the revisions that are available and some other feature that are applicable for this particular device. And let me navigate you through some of the configuration screens. Let me take you to the level measurement. So let me change the tank type. So you can just find that I'm just changing the tank type. As and when the configuration is changed, you can find that specific image is updated to represent the tank shape, how it looks like. And you can also observe some of the changes to indicate the user that this specific parameter is changed. You also configure some other parameter, which is the mounting type, to nozzle. And you can see now the apply button is enabled. So only until the configuration is made, it will be available. Otherwise, you can observe that it is disabled to make it easy for the user. And let us take some example of the method, how it looks like. And let us pick this locate device method. So this method is used to identify the device that we have connected. Just imagine that you have many devices at your desk or in the plant, and you would like to know which one you're using. So by when you can actually use this method to identify how that or which device you're using. So there will be a format. Here you can see the same format with representation of 00. So using this, you can identify the device that is available at your desk or the plant. And it is easy for you to get to know. And another interesting thing about this method is until you abort this method, this image or the representation will be shown in your device for a minute, and it will change it to the actual. Generally, it will have the primary variables or dynamic variables. So with that, you can identify. Once you identify, you can abort this method. And that is the end of this method. And this is one of the common method that is generally made available from the HAT 7 and 6 specifications. So let us move on to the offline configuration. So for that, let me close this online screen. And let me walk you through some of the offline features. For that, let me disconnect this and launch the offline screen. So generally, the offline screen will have the default configuration for a specific device. You can observe that we have changed it to a different type, the tank type and the mountain type. Maybe the default configuration also same for this, so it remains the same. However, if you look at this is different. So whatever we are having it in the offline will be having the default configuration. And now when the user would like to have the data read from device, so I don't want this default configuration. I would like to have some data read from device. So in this case, what I can do, I can go to the menu and then perform the upload operation. So for that, again, I have to establish the connection between the communication DTM and device DTM. The connection is established, and let me perform the upload operation now. So the upload operation reads the complete data from the device and make it available locally. So this takes quite a few seconds, considering the number of parameters that generally the device has. So there are already default configuration made available, and if you like to change, as I just said, you can just read complete data, and you can even modify the entire configuration that is available in the offline screen. So this device, I would say approximately it has 300 plus of parameters. So it is reading each one of it and then updating it in the offline screen. So now the upload operation is completed successfully. And let me disconnect the device. And let us look at the configuration which we changed. You can observe that now whatever the data which we changed and read from the device, it is modified. So this is the purpose of the upload operation. And also we have a download. Again, now I have some data like this. Let me navigate you to some other screen. Let's go to device setup. And let me change some parameter here. So I have changed to the long tag. Let me have it long tag to easily identify that we have changed. And now this configuration, I would like to have it run to the device. So in this case, what I can do, I can again connect to the device and perform this download operation. So the download operation also takes quite a bit of time, more than the upload. So considering the time limit, I'm not going to perform it now. Let me show you the save configuration here. So now we have changed some configuration. What we can do, this can be saved as a project file. So now I'll use the save option. I'll just give a name called offline configuration. Sorry. And just saved it. What I'll do, I'll just close this now, as we have already saved. So it is asking me, would you like to save it again? So I'm just closing it. So I have saved in the desktop a demo folder. I'm opening from there the offline configuration. So you can see the same set of configuration is made available, including the topology. And let me just open the offline screen to observe the change that we made. If you could remember, we have changed the long tag and some of the parameter from the device information screen. So you can observe these two change here. So this is another thing which is required for us. So what we can do using this configuration file, we can have the n number of devices downloaded with the same configuration using the download operation. So I'll just configure these parameters and then go to download and then write the same configuration, whichever the device, the same version and the types of device coming in. So this generally saves the time and commissioning, which actually takes a lot of effort when we have number of parameter increased. So moving on to the next feature, I would like to show you is called import export. So let me import, or maybe first I'll export the data or the network topology that is exist. So there is an option here in the context menu called export. And here also there are two options from this. I can just choose topology information only when I wanted topology information just. And in case if I want both, I can choose this option just to take it up and then save it as export data. And again, I'll save it. So now whatever the data that we have, it is saved. And let us delete the network configuration. And again, let us import the same data, whichever is exported. There is an option. You can find it in the context menu. Using import, let me import the data which is exported. Again, you can restrict here if you want it specific to topology or both device data and topology. Let me choose both. And you can find that all the information that we have imported is made available. So this generally required for the topology information and the device data when you would like to have it. It is also possible that you can import multiple device communications when you have multiple communication DTMs and the device DTMs available. That is also possible. And next, let us move on to the next interesting thing is the user management. So here under the options, so here are the options. There are various user roles available like observer, operator, maintenance engineer, planning engineer, and the administrator. So based on the user authorization, you are allowed to access some of the functions or the features available in the DTM. For example, if you're having access and logged in with the observer role credentials, you will be able to only view the current process. And if you're logged in with the planning role, and you will be able to have complete data that is accessible for you. So which is also a good for having not allowed all the information to all the roles. So this is taken care in the frame application. And next thing I would like to demonstrate the different device DTM using the Ethernet IP protocol and using the FieldMate host application, which is from Yokogawa. So let me create a new instance. I don't have the device connector here, so I'll be able to demonstrate you the functionality some level in the offline. So as it is the Ethernet IP DTM, I'm going to have it. So I'll add the Ethernet IP communication DTM. And let me add the device DTM now, which is one of the flow devices that we developed. And let us navigate to the offline screen. And in this DTM, if you look at, there is no default configuration available. So it is again based on the vendor. They do not wanted to have it as part of this offline, the default configuration. So it is always mandate for them that they have to upload the data from the device. So now if you look at another feature is I can apply the multiple configuration using the apply all button. So here another thing is if you look at some similarities here, though we are using a different frame application, you can observe that irrespective of the protocol or the DTM or the frame application, you can observe some of the features. Maybe the term is a little different, but the functionality is the same. You can observe that it has upload, download, and also the scan, which is even we have seen there, and other about window, which is the same, and also the print. Maybe I can show you the print operation here. So the report generation, we have seen one of the feature of the DTM is report generation. So the print, it's generally allowed a device data to print in the form of HTML and can be used as and when needed in the form of documentation. You can see it here. All the offline parameters that are available here made it in the print. The same way when we are in online, we also can have the complete parameters or the data printed to use it for the further analysis and submit as a report. This will have the values and the unit. So this is on the Ethernet IP DTM. I would like to have a quick sample of the other possibility of having the DTM. Single DTM can be supported with multiple device types. I just showed an example. Maybe I can just show you the DTM, which is possible. I'm just looking for a device catalog to show you that. Maybe I'll close the screen. So here, if you look at this, so there is a DTM here. So you can observe here 3 different DTMs. Maybe it has a 4, but I'm just referring to this Clay Series 4000, Clay Series DP 4000, and Clay Series GT 4000. These 3 are from different device types. But what we have done, it is developed with a single DTM installation. You can find in the control panel, it has only one DTM installation, but it is supported with 3 different device types, which is also possible. That's what I would like to show you here. With that, I just wanted to show some sample screens from various DTM, like flow, level, gas detector, and from the digital valve positioner. So if you just look at this example, these are the sample screens from a flow device that gives the overview of the device health, and using which the planning engineer or the maintenance engineer can take a necessary actions by looking into the diagnostic information in detail. And here is another example. So let's just consider that you have a boiler or different types of tanks, just like this, and you would like to configure for the linearization. So each tank is represented with the smart controls, if you just look at, and based on the tank type and the configuration related parameters can be done it easily here. When the user has different types of tanks other than the horizontal, vertical, or a different cylinder type, they can go ahead with free linearization type, where they can enter more than 100 data points, depends on the device functionality. And here is another example from one of the gas detector DTM, which supports the NAMUR classification. So each alert, if you look at it, is represented with the NAMUR standards and the icon. So this will be helpful for the person to look at, instead of just looking at what is the category, they can just look at the image and then take a necessary decision, as it is a quick attention. And this is another example from level measurement device DTM, which mainly takes care of the challenging measurements on the liquids and solids, which has a rich look and feel. So there are a lot of customizations also is possible with this. And this is one of the complex DTM. And these are the method flow from one of the complex smart valve positioners that we have developed, which is also certified and available in the market. So this has around 100 plus of screens, which were reduced with the number of interfaces, the user interfaces that are available. Without changing any business logic, we are able to reduce it to limited number to 20 plus of screens, and this also helped in spending the effort on commissioning. So this single DTM supports more than 200 plus of actuator model with a different size and the actuator types. And finally, as part of the device integration offerings, Utanga provides the services on the FTT technology, which includes the FTT host development. We have the basic modules available using which we can also develop the host application. We have developed more than 200 plus of DTMs, and we also got it certified for our OEMs and the industrial suppliers so far. We can also port FDI user interface plugin into the FTT DTMs. If you already have the FTT systems and if you would like to have the OPC support to it, we can do that as well. And if you have the asset management systems, we can do the FDT module integration to it. We also have the DD FDI device package to DTM conversion tool, which we have just seen a few minutes back. And there is a DTM development suite for developing the DTMs from the scratch, where we can do the customization and when there is no FDI or DD package available. Utinga is one of the major contributors to the FTT group itself. Apart from us, there are many other FTT service providers available worldwide, and you can find the information from the FTT group website from the below link. And that's all I had for today's webinar. Let us move on to the Q&A session. You can leave your question in the Q&A window. Thank you.
Come on, slide. Request the attendees to drop your questions in the Q&A segment.
Okay, there is a question. I did not understand under what scenario is a gateway DTM needed. So just to answer to this question, so when you have a complete segment available, for example, I showed an example here. Just go back to the slide where I had the network topology. So in this case, if you just look at here, the Profibus, this is a gateway. It is not a direct communication just like another device. So this device will be communicated through the Profibus gateway. So in this case, I need to have the gateway DTM available. So again, it depends on the device connectivity or the need. Hope that answers your question. And another question, do host applications like FieldMate, etc. also have to be certified? Sometimes we have noticed that they differ in how they load and show the DTM. Generally, yes, it has to be certified, but it is not always mandatory for the people. I think only limited number of frame applications are supported. However, we will have to ensure that, I think the FTT group ensures that whatever the standard and the defined interfaces in the FTT specification is followed. And some customizations made available for some of the host. Maybe we can, as part of our demo, we have seen it. FieldMate had a different set of feature. Even the user management in the FieldMate is different. So it is again the host specific. Another question is FTT 3.0 platform independent. Yes, you're right. FTT 3.0 is platform independent, and you can work with it using many other platforms like Windows, mobile, and even this tab. And you will get much more from the webinar that is going to be held during the July 2nd by Glenn.
Divya, the last question from Alexander.
Yeah, do you need extra hardware for Ethernet-based communication like Modbus TP or Profinet? Or does the communication DTM requires extra hardware? No, not really. If you're going with communication, I think if you're referring to a specific communication DTM as you're referring to this Modbus TCP, If I have to communicate through only Modbus TCP, then yes, it is required to have a communication modem specific to the hardware. Maybe I can get back to you with the details for this question because it is also relating with the Ethernet IP. Alexander, we will get back to you in the email.
Okay. Divya, thank you everyone. Thank you for your questions and participation. There are few questions which we couldn't answer today, but due to the time constraint, we shall answer those questions via email soon. So before we close the segment, I would like to have a quick poll for 30 seconds. Request you to please provide your answers. Five more seconds. So as per the results, it looks like people are not self-sufficient. So definitely, Utunga will be able to support in your DTM development. You can send an email to us on the same email ID which was received for a webinar link. It is marketing@utunga.com. We will repeat, marketing@utunga.com. Next slide. Next slide. So finally, a quick peek into the upcoming webinars. The next webinar is on digital transformation with FDT 3.0 on 2nd July 2020. You will definitely don't want to miss this. This is presented by Mr. Glenn, Managing Director of FDT Group. He will be sharing his key insight into the latest specification of FDT 3.0 in the webinar, which is co-hosted by FDT Group and Utunga. Following after that, we have a webinar on foundation for FDT DTM development on 6th August. The webinar will provide more details and technical know-how on the FDT and to help in developing NDTM. Please block your calendars. We'll be sharing you the registration links shortly. Do follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube to get recent updates on our ongoing activities. Thank you everyone once again for attending this webinar. Hope to see you all on 2nd July. Stay safe. Thank you.